Hey, I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart and The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today we're going to be reviewing another one of the Star Wars Legends trilogies, that being The Jedi Academy by my friend Kevin J. Anderson. Yep, Jedi Search, Dark Apprentice, Champions of the Force. The 3 books in the Jedi Academy series. You know, I wore my Rush t-shirt in honor of my good friend Kevin J. Anderson because he, along with Neil Peart, the drummer of the rock band Rush, may his soul rest in peace, he has since passed on, but Kevin J. Anderson and Neil Peart wrote some fantasy novels together. They were good friends. So I thought I would do a Rush shout out for Kevin. I met Kevin at his Superstars. Well, first of all, I met Kevin way back when I was in college, when I won the Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future contest, back when I was a college student, for some of the illustrations I'd done. I used to do Magic cards, Magic the Gathering cards. I used to do a lot of illustrations for TSR, Dungeons & Dragons game, Wizards of the Coast, you know, a lot of places. And I met Kevin back then when he was writing these books, and kind of known him off and on a little bit, but I got to really know him at his Superstars of Writing conference in Colorado Springs, Colorado, when I attended that, when my debut novel, Forgetting Moon, came out. By the way, for aspiring writers, some of my videos here are not only book reviews, but I do give a little bit of writing advice, and this is one bit of writing advice I'm going to give you right now. Kevin J. Anderson, Brandon Sanderson, David Farland, James Owens, Jim Butcher, Jonathan Maberry, oh gosh, I could just keep naming really famous fantasy authors. They put on a writing conference for aspiring writers, and it's called Superstars of Writing, and it's in Colorado Springs every year. And if you want to go to the best writing conference for aspiring fantasy and science fiction writers that you can ever go to, please sign up for Kevin J. Anderson's Superstars of Writing conference in Colorado Springs. You will learn so much about writing and the business of writing. Not just about writing, but more importantly, the business of writing. That is the most important, it's just the best writing conference for any aspiring writer in the world, bar none. And like I said, you get teachers like Brandon Sanderson, Jim Butcher, you get a lot of great teachers that show up and teach at this conference. So it's just great, great. That's my bit of writing advice for this video. Let's get into Kevin J. Anderson's The Jedi Academy itself. Like I said, he's one of my friends. He helped me get introduced to the Comic-Con circuit. His Wordfire press booth, I mean, he invited me to sell my books out of the Wordfire press booth at a lot of Comic-Cons. It's since turned into Bard's Tower. If you're ever at a Comic-Con in the country, if the Comic-Con is in your town, please visit Bard's Tower and meet all the famous authors like myself, Kevin J. Anderson, all of us guys that show up. Some of us more famous than others. I mean, I ain't that famous. Nobody really knows who I am, but everybody knows who Kevin J. Anderson is. Jedi Academy. I love the Star Wars Legends books. That's my one guilty pleasure. I just collect these paperbacks, and I have ever since they started coming out, and I just can't get over how awesome they all are. Especially in light of considering some of the latest movies I didn't really care for. You know, they ditched all of these books as canon, and they replaced them with some movies that I wasn't that thrilled with, which is fine. I understand, you know, everybody's got a different taste, but, you know, they should have just filmed some of these books. I understand why they didn't, because they wanted a fresh story. They didn't. Well, I mean, because these all have plot spoilers. They couldn't film these books, even though it would have been awesome had they filmed these books. I mean, these books are full of plot spoilers, and I can see why Disney didn't want that. But Kevin J. Anderson's, and I'm only going to speak briefly on this, Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy series is one of the better trilogies in the Legends universe. It's probably the funnest. It's probably the most lighthearted. It's not dark. The basic premise is Han Solo and Chewbacca go off to Kessel to the spice mines. They get kidnapped. They get thrown in the spice mines. Really bad stuff starts happening to Chewbacca and Han Solo, and they are missing. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody realizes they've been kidnapped and sent to the spice mines. Princess Leia's worried, Luke's worried, Lando's worried. Everybody, all of our characters are worried what's happened. Even C-3PO is worried. He's like, what happened to Han Solo and Chewbacca? Right? So it's a search for Han Solo and Chewbacca. At the same time, Luke Skywalker, he wants to get a Jedi Academy started. He wants to go in search of the universe for potential Jedi, people who may have the Force. And so he goes to the Jedi Council in the big city there, and he's like, hey man, can I, not the Jedi Council, I can't remember who he goes to, but he goes somewhere to say, hey, I want to, no, he goes to Mon Mothma. That's who he goes to, the Mon Mothma and all the people that are running the rebellion. The leaders of the rebellion, that's where he goes. He's like, hey man, I want to go off in search of Jedi. Can I have your blessing? And the Senate, and you know what the Senate looks like if you've watched The Phantom Menace and the Attack of the Clones and all that. The Senate, he's in there and he says, I want to go find other Jedi like myself. And they're like, yeah, cool. Knock yourself out, buddy. So he goes off to search for Jedi, while Princess Leia and Lando go off to find what happened to Chewbacca and Han Solo. Because they're still kidnapped. And they're working the spice mines. And that sucks. Nobody wants to work the spice mines. Yeah, that would be awful. Especially for a guy like Han Solo, you know what I mean? But anyway, Han Solo meets some people in the mines, like Kip, and who's a Force, and so he's like, Kip has the Force. So Han Solo's just stumbled upon somebody in the mines that has the Force. Luke is out there searching for people that has the Force. He finds people that has the Force, and he starts his little Jedi Academy, and things start to go sideways and bad real quick because, you know, there's the dark side of the Force and a light side of the Force. And not everybody that he finds for his little Jedi Academy really wants to play nice with the nice, good side of the Force. And so that's where trouble starts, and it's just, gosh, it's just such a fun little adventure. And Kevin J. Anderson did such a great job of writing it. I mean, he's just a great, prolific writer in general. I mean, he collaborated with Brian Herbert on the Dune series, and those are great. All the Brian Herbert, Kevin J. Anderson Dune books are fantastic. Kevin J. Anderson's Star Wars books are fantastic. I mean, he's just had such an illustrious career. Just the dude, and not only that, the dude is just the nicest dude in the business. Just the nicest dude in the business. So, the Jedi Academy series, let's give this trilogy an 8 out of 10 overall. The only thing I don't really like about it, and I love the Drew Struzan poster covers that go on a lot of these. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of these covers, but still, you know, not bad, not bad. Go out and get the Jedi Academy Trilogy.